Coral. When you hear the word, a few things may come to mind. Clear, light blue tropical oceans, vibrant fish living inside colorful reefs, or even the reddish-orange color itself. All of these things are valid pieces of the puzzle. But what a lot of people don't seem to understand is what exactly are coral? Are they just a rock formation like lagoons, canyons, or fjords? Or are they dead plant matter that collect and compress into sedimentary rock, the remnants of a long-gone fish habitat? Do they serve any other purpose apart from being simple eye candy? And what's all the news about them turning white? Well, let's find out. So what are coral? For starters, there are three types of them. Hard coral, the ones that normally come to mind, soft coral, and deep water coral. For the sake of relevancy, we will only focus on the hard type of coral, known as Scleractinia, because they are the ones that build reefs. If you want to know more about the other types, feel free to do some research. Let's get this straight. Unlike rock, corals are alive. They live, grow, and die just like any other animal. However, they are different from plants. They are heterotrophs, which means they do not make their own food. Instead, they feed off of other living things. So now that we got that out of the way, what are corals? Corals are made of hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of tiny coral polyps that join together to become the brightly colored organisms you're familiar with. These polyps are invertebrates that have venomous, stinging tentacles and secrete calcium carbonate, also known as limestone, to form their iconic hard shells. Polyps feed at night by using their tentacles equipped with stinging cells called nematocysts by sending out a harpoon-like thread to kill and pull unsuspecting prey into their mouths, normally ranging from zooplankton to tiny fish depending on the size of the polyp. In addition to regular prey, many corals also eat organic particles in the form of mucus film and strands. Together, all of these corals join to form reefs. So now that you know what corals are, you might be thinking,
Oh, that's cool and all, but aren't they just pretty little organisms? I mean, they don't really make any difference in the ocean, right?
well, they do more than you think. First off, a lot of hurricanes are formed in tropical areas, and these storms cause massive waves to form, flooding coastal towns and destroying shorelines. This is prevented by coral reefs as they dissipate the tidal energy and reduce the damage before it happens. Plants and animals that live in coral reefs are sources of medicines that treat cancer, arthritis, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and other diseases and infections. The World Wildlife Fund, or WWF, estimates the coral reefs provide an annual $30 billion worth of goods and services, so these reefs support the tourist economy as well. Lastly, and arguably the most important, reefs are the home to many native species of fish and algae, and while reefs cover only 0.1% of the ocean territory on the planet, they support a whopping 25% of marine life, showing how valuable they really are to the world. Remember the coral we showed you in the beginning of the video? Well, take a look at this. This is what they're becoming. So far, it's just a small fraction of the coral reefs in the world, but in as little as 30 years, it might just become the only thing associated with them. There are 4 notable causes of this happening: pollution, overfishing, global warming, and ocean acidification. Let's start with pollution. When plastic is thrown away into the beaches, rivers, or oceans, more than 11 billion pieces of them end up near coral reefs, where they cling to the bodies of the polyps, making them prone to illnesses and death. This cannot be understated because according to the journal Science, the likelihood of disease increases from 4% to 89% when corals are in contact with plastic. Another reason coral reefs are in trouble is because of overfishing. Overfishing is commonly defined as fishing at a rate where the ecosystem cannot replenish, causing the population of the fish to decline. This affects the closely connected coral reef ecosystem because if too many herbivorous fish are taken away from the reefs, the algae population which the fish feed on would skyrocket, and corals and carnivorous fish species alike would have a hard time finding food to eat and eventually starve. Another way overfishing damages reefs is because of the large fishing nets that deep-sea trawlers use to collect fish. When a branch of coral gets tangled or stuck in this net, it would instantly be broken off, making it almost impossible for the coral to reproduce and regrow. If all these troubles weren't enough, there's global warming and ocean acidification. Global warming is caused by a variety of reasons we're sure you've heard of, but if you haven't, check out this video. In short, global warming causes the Earth's ocean temperatures to rise, which can have a devastating effect on the coral reefs. Increased temperatures cause corals to kick out symbiotic algae living inside the polyp cells. These colorful algae provide 90% of the nutrients for coral through photosynthesis, but the high temperature damages chloroplasts within the algae, essentially killing them. Because the algae no longer provides any help to the corals, they get kicked out, leaving the corals white and in need of nutrients. Although they are still alive after being bleached, if they are left in this state, the coral will eventually die. Lastly, there's ocean acidification. Ocean acidification is caused by excessive amounts of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere reacting with water to reduce the ocean's pH. This makes it hard for coral to survive because acidic water can reduce their metabolism and immune responses, and the lower pH also dissolves the calcium carbonate shells that corals need to be protected. There would also be less carbonate overall, so it would be impossible for corals to rebuild. This, alongside all the other problems that affect corals, spells out a world where coral reefs, alongside many other important biodiverse fish species, might fade from existence. So how do we stop this calamity from happening? Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that there's only 3 things we need to do to stop it. But the bad news is that we don't have much time. To reverse the death of corals, we need to 1. Stop polluting the oceans. Approximately 8 million metric tons of plastic are thrown into the oceans every year, and if the world works together to reduce this amount, coral reefs can be protected from disease and death. 2. Stop overfishing. Our demand as a human species grows substantially every single year, and only when we stop hurting the reef's fragile ecosystems can they flourish and continue to help our planet. 3. Reduce our global carbon dioxide emissions. Global warming and ocean acidification are both largely caused by excessive amounts of carbon dioxide, and if all the countries around the world work together to stop polluting the atmosphere, we can finally slow down global warming and save the corals. Now that you know what's happening to such a vital ecosystem that has so many benefits for our planet, from sheltering plants and fish to preventing hurricanes that ravage towns along the coastlines, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to move on with your life, or are you going to take action? Work to make a difference in the world, even if it's just a single step further towards making the planet a better place for generations to come. If you're the latter, we linked a website in the description to donate and help protect coral reefs from damage and destruction. The world needs more people like you. Funding for the Horizon Project is provided by nobody.
We are just 2 siblings trying to make a difference in this world through education, and our primary hope for getting our videos out for everyone to see is you. If you subscribe to our channel, our videos are going to get recommended to more people, and our cause will have a greater effect on the world. It's free, so why not? Thank you for watching this long. Seriously, you're the best, and catch us again in the next video. Bye!